Robert G. Allen, you guys. He's been on the New York Times bestseller author list time and time again. Robert is the author or co-author of some of the most influential financial books of all time, including the New York Times bestsellers, Creating Wealth, Nothing Down, Multiple Streams of Income, and The 1 Minute Millionaire. Combined, his 11 books have sold over copies and spent almost 100 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list. Through the past 40 years, Dolph Drews is talking about you today, millions of people have attended his live seminars, and his graduates have earned billions, that's billions with a B, in profits by following his financial advice. Today, there are literally thousands of millionaires worldwide who have attributed their success to Mr. Allen's systems and strategies, empowered by his philosophy of the enlightened entrepreneur. His students have generously contributed over $50 million to their favorite churches, causes, and charities. That is incredible. As a public speaker, he has spoken to audiences worldwide as large as 20,000 people, bulls, sharing stages with the likes of Sir Richard Branson, Tony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, Donald Trump. I didn't say that, Winfrey. Donald Trump. In America, the National Speaker Association has given him an award as America's top millionaire maker. As a trainer and educator, he has spoken to groups all over the world. He teaches on the subjects of personal finance, wealth creation, entrepreneurship, sales, marketing, and personal growth. He's a popular media great, appearing on hundreds of radio television programs, including Good Morning America, Regis Philbin, Neil Cavuto, Larry King. This guy, it is on and on. He's been in the Wall Street Journal, LA Times, Newsweek. You just celebrated 45 years of marriage with your wife, Daryl. I'd like to introduce to you Robert G. Allen. Thank you, Mr.
Everybody.
Allen. Wow, that is amazing. I am so blessed and humbled by you gifting me an hour of your time. Honest to God, I'm just so excited that you're here. So thank you for that. Where are you sitting right now? Where are you?
I'm at my home in Utah.
Okay. Oh, you're in Utah. Okay.
My office, yeah.
So we're going to get to a lot. I want to talk to you about a lot of different things, but would you give us your background and what? And before we get started, Robert G. Allen, what's that G for? What's your G for?
Grant.
Grant.
It's named after my uncle who died in the Second World War.
Okay, so it's a family name, so Grant. Great. So would you give us a little bit of background on you?
What was that?
Would you give us a little bit of background, how you got started and then how you got started in real estate as well?
I graduated from Brigham Young University with an MBA, and in the middle of a recession where they weren't hiring anybody, and I sent out my 30 applications to get interviewed by all the major corporations, and got 30 rejection letters.
Oh no!
Yeah, so I decided, well, I'd read 2 books that had changed my life. Number 1 was Think and Grow Rich. And number 2 was a book by William Nickerson called How I Turned $1,000 into $1 million in real estate in my spare time.
Really?
Thought my brother-in-law had been very successful in real estate, so I thought, well, if I can't find a job, but maybe I don't want a job. Why? I really just want to be a millionaire. Why do I just skip right over the job and go right to million? Which I did, frankly, and I was a millionaire within less than 5 years from graduating with my master's, and have no job, no money, no credit, no financial statement. Bought my first property using using that $1,000 that my dad gave me for graduation, and then the rest is history. Then I wrote my book. Nothing Down, which became the all-time best-selling real estate hardcover, How to Buy Real Estate with Little or No Money Down. And then that just started.
Just kind of sparked from there.
Yeah, exactly. So I've been doing that for 40 years. So
you have an awesome.
The book came out in 1980. I guess I bought my first property in 1976. So I've been at it for a long time.
A long time, a lot of experience. And I'm going to get into all of that. I'm going to ask you about the book. I'm going to ask you about this stuff, but you've coached so many people, and the people that I'm trying to, speak to and try to help. I want people to understand you've mentored millions of people. I read that in your bio, correct? So you've had a lot of experience. Can you tell me, and then I want to get into other things deeper, but what is the difference you see between the people, your top students, the people that have achieved, and the ones that just kind of fall off and don't apply the principles? Can you tell me the main difference that you've seen? I think it's big.
Yeah, well, for many years, I just assumed people were like me,
I know, right?
went out and made my million. What's the matter with you? You know?
Right.
Well, go for it. Go. I didn't realize that. And so what I would do in most of my books, for instance, Creating Wealth, which was also #1 New York Times bestseller, or Multiple Streams of Income, also a #1 New York Times bestseller. Multiple, The 1 Minute Millionaire. Especially this one a very, very famous book, and it's a great book, but it's all systems. It's like 10 ways of making streams of income while you sleep, 10 how to generate a lifetime of unlimited wealth, which means I want the money to flow in while I'm not working. I want residual streams of income. I want money while I sleep. So, but they're very nitty gritty, detailed systems, charts and graphs and everything else. But there's no mindset in here, none. And this book was written in 2000, and actually 1996 is when it first came out. So I just it finally dawned on me, I could teach two people the same thing, the same systems, and one person goes off and does it, and the other person gives me excuses like, well, my credit isn't very good, or, well, I didn't really understand that one concept, And so the bottom line of your question was, it's mindset. It's 99% mindset.
And we're going to talk about that. So yeah, that's good. Thank you. That's really good advice. And to your point, I started coaching real estate agents a few years back, and I had, one-on-one appointments with over 100 agents. And it was exhausting because I was saying 9.5 out of 10 didn't want to do. I literally gave them the roadmap. I literally handed it to them to go, just put your name right here.
Do this. Do this.
Right.
Here's the system. Go do it.
Go do it. And they didn't do it.
They
wouldn't do it. So eliminating the mindset. And you didn't hear my story earlier, but I had made a lot of money and then I lost it. And so I was really afraid because I didn't have the education, right? I was really good at making money, good person, didn't have the education. So that's why I wasn't able to realize what was happening. So I never achieved that same level of success I had at my height because of my mindset, the limiting belief that I don't know, I can't be trusted with money because I'm going to lose it. So now that was a big aha moment for me, where I was like, no, I can educate myself on money, which is why you're here, kind sir. And I'm not going to lose it, right? I'm an intelligent person. So just educating yourself and making those pivots in your mind, but executing it, as what you just said, is really important. So thank you for that. I have another question for you. So you wrote a book, and I think this, in regards to mindset, tell us about the book, 4 Maps and Why. And I think you just kind of answered this question. Tell us a little bit about that book, because I think it speaks to mindset.
4 Maps, if anybody wants one, just send me an email and I'll send it to you.
Put that into the chat box, you guys, Ashley, if you can. So if anybody wants that, let us know.
I don't think I can I can load this up into chat. If I could, I would.
No, we'll put it, we'll drop it in there.
So I'll just email it to you. Is that what you want me to do?
That'd be great. Yes, thank you.
It's a digital book, but I went back over my career, and there were times when I crushed it, and then there was times when I got crushed.
Okay.
And I went back and I said, well, why did I crush it here? Why did I get crushed there?
Right.
What did I work? What was the difference, and what was the ups, what are the downs, whatever. And I came up with the 4 fundamental skills that I think are essential for any huge success in your life. And if you don't have these 4 skills, you ain't gonna make it, or you ain't gonna keep it. And so I wrote this book called The 4 Maps of Happy, Successful People. There's no real estate in here. There's no multiple streams of income, but there's just a simple system for how to train your mind to do what we were talking about, have the right mindset. The first skill is to have clarity on exactly what you want.
So clarity, okay.
They don't have clarity.
Mhm.
So the clarity map is really answering 7 questions about specifically. Let's assume, 5 years from now that you've arrived where you want to be. You've achieved the success you've always hoped to achieve. You're living your ideal lifestyle. 5 years from today, which would be, in 2027, 2028, coming up. So where do you want to be? And most people don't ever ask themselves that question. They don't set a deadline to it. They just think, well, wouldn't it be nice if I, had more money, had a better car, had a better house? And I'm asking you to get really specific. When do you want this lifestyle that you say you want? When do you want it? Because that's a deadline. And so, first of all, what the heck do you want? We all have different desires. So
Right.
I wanted to be a millionaire, so I did. But maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you want to be a concert pianist. Maybe you want to be a politician. Maybe you want to be a sports person. Maybe you want to be an announcer on television. I don't care what you want. I know what I want. So tell me clearly, what do you want from 5 years from now? So do we have a chance to talk to any of the folks that are on this call with us, Tamara, or can they open up their
Yeah, they can put chance of, yes, they can.
Hey Pamela, how are you? David,
Hey, I'm here. I'm listening. I'm having some video malfunction, but I'm listening in. So any questions you direct my way.
so David,
No, he's letting you know you can ask questions. but
where do
thank
you want to be 5 years from now? What's your ideal life look like?
My ideal life is to have enough money in my bank to buy a home and start a family. I'm 31 years old, going on 32. I was a late bloomer getting my degree. I, went into a specific industry that I really enjoyed, that I had experience with before going back to school. And my mentor then kind of told me, hey, go back, get your degree, and you'll be able to move up the ladder with your kind of work ethic. So, I bought into that. And so then that's what I did. And, I'm sure that you have experience with this, but.
Hey, that's enough. That's enough information. That's not what I asked you. I asked you, where do you want to be 5 years from now? And you told me something that didn't work. In other words, you gave information to your brain that your brain didn't know what to do with. Your brain is a computer and it needs a number. And you said, I want to make a lot of money. I want to buy a house. I want to have family. None of those are specific. Therefore, none of those will happen.
Okay, I definitely agree.
How much money do you want?
As much money as I can get.
Oh, that's
No, you
not. Everybody does that. They always say, I want to be financially free. That's not a number. Give me a number.
I don't know. I wouldn't know the first thing on what a good number would be. So let's just say $1 million, just for discussion's sake.
Okay, you want to be a millionaire. Okay, and you want to be by when?
By the time I'm 40.
What is that date?
That would be January 1st, 2033.
Okay, so now there's a date. There's a year. There's a number. You say you want to have a house. Where do you want the house?
I got kicked off. There it is.
David, where do you want this house?
California.
Give me a city. Your brain doesn't know what to do with that. Give me a city.
Okay. I want it to be in Dana Point, California.
Nice, very nice.
Actually, I changed that. I want it to be in San Juan Capistrano, California.
Very nice. Okay, how big is the house?
4-bedroom.
Okay, how many square feet?
I would say, I don't know. What's the average square footage for a 4-bedroom, Mom?
3,000 square feet, something like that.
3,000 to 5,000 square feet. So let's say 4,000 square feet. Okay.
I was gonna undershoot that, so
why undershoot it?
I don't know, because I wasn't sure what a good average square foot for a house would be.
Okay, good. All right. So now you're starting to tell me that you can tell me what do you want? You told me when you wanted it. You told me where you wanted it. you didn't tell me who you wanted it, who's going to help you get it.
I mean, I'm gonna help myself get it. I mean, focusing on, the company that I'm gonna be working with, and then, moving up the ladder the way that I said earlier from my mentor, telling me to go back to school and doing that and doing just that.
Okay. And so you're an employee or an entrepreneur,
I'm an employee.
and you want to be an employee till you retire.
That's the plan right now. But I mean, again, with not giving you direct answers, I would say no, I don't really want to be an employee. I would rather be an entrepreneur. But I think being an employee, and the knowledge that I have in my agency gives me good direction to,
You're cut out there a little bit, David.
don't,
Good,
go
good
off.
skill. Good. Okay, good. So while you work, you're going to have a side hustle. What will your side hustle be?
Investments, I guess.
Okay, good. What kind of investments?
I couldn't tell you.
See, what you give me is you give me really basic information. Your brain doesn't know what to do with that.
Yeah, I don't.
And therefore, that's why you don't know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, and most people don't. I'm not pointing you out,
No,
David.
I know. No, I know.
Most people don't know the answers to those questions.
You're right. But it's
Never asked
definitely,
them.
it's
So
definitely getting the wheels turning.
This little book right here
Huh?
force you to start to think about those questions. There's 7 questions. What do you want? When do you want it? Where do you want it? Who do you want it for? You want it? Who's going to help you get it? Why do you want it? How much of it do you want? And finally, the question is, how are you going to get it? And how is usually it's the last question, but most people ask it first. And they go, well, how am I going to make $1 million?
Yeah.
Wrong question.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the weakest question. You don't ask that question. You first of all create, this is what I want. And then your brain goes, let's see, how are we going to get that? It starts giving you suggestions, and you start seeing opportunities around you we'd never seen before, because your mind gets magnetized on the details of your vision. So I guess Tamara, I'll send this book to Tamara. She'll email this to everybody.
Right.
This is talks about the 4 skills that you want. Now,
You talked about clarity. Did you mention you said there's 3 others? Were you mentioning those?
yeah, clarity is a very positive question. It's a dreaming question. I want you to dream.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, get into your dream state. But most people just dream and then they never do anything about it. So if there's no plan and no anticipation, then there's no result. It has to have a right brain a component and a left brain component.
Mm-hmm.
The left, you're recording this, are you, Tamara?
Yes.
So the right brain is the dreaming part. Got to do that, and most people don't do it. And then the left brain is the planning part. It's the, okay, what could go wrong to stop me from getting to it? It's planning and preparing, and the word is anticipation. That's the map. It's called the anticipation map. How do I anticipate what might happen? What could stop me? What could slow me down? It's really going out in the future and going, well, let's see. If that happens, how will I get around that? If I get stuck into the whirlwind of life, and most people are stuck in this whirlwind, constantly little things are going on all the time. They never spend any time planning and working on their dream every single day.
Right.
Because they don't have a plan, and they don't even know what to do. So they don't work on it every day. Therefore, their things come up, they get overwhelmed, they get stuck in the learning curve, they get distracted with all kinds of little different candies, little sweetnesses. They're afraid to climb the cliffs of life, and they have sudden storms that stop them in their tracks. For example, COVID was a sudden storm. Nobody was ready for it, and yet some people made a fortune during COVID. Some people lost their shirt. The people who made a fortune, they were ready. They were anticipating it. They pivoted. They had to, and maybe they were forced to pivot, but they pivoted, and they times their business by 100. Some people didn't pivot and they got wiped out because they didn't anticipate things like that. And sudden storms are like that. You can't anticipate them. You can only say to yourself, whatever happens, I'm going to handle it and I'm going to figure it out. The third map is what I call the ritual map, is what do you do every day to prepare yourself? My mentor, Stephen Covey, would say, every day we need to have a daily private victory. And then we go out in the world and we have a daily public victory. So most people don't have a daily private victory. They don't even prepare for the day. They just rush into life and they let life, crush them. Instead of saying, well, let's see, how can I lay the foundation of my life? How can I do my spiritual foundation, my physical foundation, my mental foundation?
Right. Financial.
Time you spend on your ritual every day. And this is what you've been talking about, Tamara, during this series that you've been teaching, is how do you prepare your mind so that you're ready? Something good happens, you rush. When something bad happens, you're ready. It's a ritual that I call. And you look at really successful people, they have a ritual. They do it almost the same thing every day.
We were talking about the rinse and repeat, right? Getting those systems in place. And we'll get a little bit deeper into that, but that's great. But when you say have a private victory, can you explain what you mean by that? Like, what do you mean?
There are three skills that you're going to focus
Oh, I
on.
love when he brings out the whiteboard. That means we're going to learn some. All right. Oh, hit me, Robert G. Allen.
Yeah. The three skills you're doing during your preparation are the 3 B's, and that's your body. So sometime today you have to exercise and eat right, and take your proper nutrition, a lot of supplementations, which I do. Your body, and most people don't prepare their body at all. They don't exercise, they don't eat right, they don't sleep right.
Right.
So you during your ritual, you're planning, what am I going to eat today? How am I going to exercise my body? Right. So your brain is another part of your ritual, where you're reading books, you're studying, you're planning, you're doing your visualizations, you're doing just this regular ritual to kind of prepare yourself for the onslaught of life. When you walk out the door, you want to be ready for life, and if you're not ready, life's going to get you. So the bottom line is you have to prepare your brain. So every day I read, I study, I plan, I prepare, my mindset activities. And the final one is your being. I don't know, David, what your personal belief in a higher power is, but I believe in a higher power. I call him my Heavenly Father, and he's real to me.
To me, I mean, everyone's different, but if I didn't have God, and this is like, I'm not trying to preach to people, I'm just saying in my life, Robert, and like you said earlier, rejection is God's protection. You got 30 rejections, right? But that brought you to your reality. And I have a lot of faith in him. So yeah, it's huge for me. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for God. So go on. Sorry.
My specialty is money, and how do you make money? How there are certain techniques and strategies. Pamela's here because she's part of my inner circle, and
Right.
a couple of dozen people in that inner circle where I'm teaching them specifically mindset things, but more specifically the money things. I'm bringing on our calls. I do call with them every week on exactly how you make money, and the specific nitty gritty systems on how you do it.
Right.
It's not just mindset stuff, but it's systems. If you don't have the systems and you don't have the people skills, you're not going to make it. So
And you said the difference between the people that you've mentored, correct me if I'm wrong, the ones that have been successful versus the ones that have not been successful has been the ones that have applied your systems. Am I right?
to have the mindset to apply my systems. Yes. There are 3 fundamental skills you want to be successful in your life. You have to have system skills, people skills, and mindset skills. System skills is, if you're going to be an Olympic runner, then what's the system for how you run faster? How do you prepare yourself? How do you sprint? How does your coach, get you to run faster? There's all kinds of specific nitty-gritty things you do with your body in order to make that happen. So that's called system skills. The people skills is how do you persuade other people to help you? And how do you persuade other people to be on your team? You're not going to get there on yourself, on your own.
Right.
Persuasion skills, and most people don't have the persuasion skills.
Yeah.
And then finally, it's mindset skills, which is the majority of what you need to learn. Because I can teach you a system skill, I can teach you how to make money in real estate, I can teach you, 10 ways of making money in multiple streams of income. But you can get those things for free, frankly. Go online, download a book. The system skills are cheap, they're easy, they're fun, they're fast. What problem is a person will read one of my books and then they won't do it because it's all mindset. It's all mindset. They don't have the organizational skill. They can't persuade themselves to get started.
They can't even persuade themselves. Yeah.
You can persuade other people to help you, but if you can't persuade yourself to get started, then ain't gonna happen. So this is a rich. I do this every day, and this morning I'm in my chair over here. I'm doing my brain stuff. I'm doing my body stuff. I'm doing my being stuff, which is spiritual stuff. It's books that I read. I read the Bible. I read the Book of Mormon. I read a lot of different spiritual books. There are a lot of great books out there that have on this planet. There are most people believe in some form of a God. We all have different ways of understanding, but there might be 2%, 3% are atheists. Most other people are either agnostic, like they're not quite sure, or they believe in some kind of higher power, but they haven't really figured out what that is, or their beliefs belong to some religious persuasion, whether they're Hindu or they're Muslim or they're Christian. I'm personally Christian, and therefore they follow that belief. And so I read these books that talk about Jesus Christ, and I want him to be part of my life. And I'm going to pray every day, and I want him, and I'm going to write in my journal. I'm going to write down my goals, and so I'm pointing the places in my office here where I go every single morning. And this morning I got up at 5:15, and I was done with my ritual about 7:30.
Okay.
That meant I spent a lot of time preparing for this day, and I
think a lot of people that think that's a waste of time. I know I did back in the day. Now I'm understanding, I'm evolving, I'm learning, I'm trying to be better. But it was like the first one at the office was, like if I could be the office first, it was more about that. But it's so important for me to spend the time that you're saying before I do those things. It's just as important as me knowing what loan programs.
Look at really successful people. Next time you meet one, ask them, what do you do to prepare yourself every day? What's your ritual? And very rarely will they not be able to answer that question really specifically. Ask Oprah, she'll tell you.
I'm going to ask you at the end of the interview exactly what you do in the morning, because I've asked every person that's come that exact question, because I know how important it is, and I'm really trying to learn. So Thank you for that. So the name of the summit is Become Recession-Proof. I know you know that. I believe I have a couple questions in regards to that. So what is an important skill set in these times of becoming recession-proof or positioning yourself? And do you believe, in your experience, that recessions or economic downturns create unique opportunities to create passive income and wealth?
What is that word? Recession? I don't.
It's not your vocabulary. Okay, great.
I'm sorry.
I don't really. Yeah, you don't like. I don't know that word.
I don't know what that word means. I don't buy into that word. I'm not
Okay.
only am I not recession proof, I don't believe in that word.
Okay.
Opportunity comes every day.
We make our opportunities. Okay.
Opportunities. So when it comes to real estate investing, for instance, we just came through a very surging real estate market, which has now cooled dramatically.
Right.
And therefore, we have cycles in real estate where we go from buyers markets to sellers markets. And I don't care how we get there. The pandemic was one of the things that caused some upheaval. However we get there, we just change our strategies. So when we go from a seller's market where everybody is having a hard time finding a good deal because everybody's running around with lots of cash, the government gave them the cash. The government dumped $4 trillion on the marketplace.
Mhm.
$4 trillion, that's just a huge amount of money. And so, yeah, we got that much money chasing fewer real estate, just all supply and demand. So supply and demand is really what you need to be talking about, not recession proof. And of course, I know you have your reasons for using that word.
Yeah,
It's
it's
all about supply and demand, period.
okay.
And just and certain economic things happen that affect supply and demand. So the demand was increased because of this extra money that was dumped onto the marketplace. And then also a lot of really rich, smart people are really realizing that the stock market is a good place to make money, but the real estate is really the true wealth, frankly. I don't want to invest my money in a place where any lunatic in the world with an atomic bomb can destroy the market in 1 second. I don't
Right.
want to play that game. I want to play a game where I know every single person who is living in one of my buildings, every single person has to be there. They
Mhm.
need to be there. They have to have a roof over their head. There's no choice. Wouldn't it be nice if I didn't have to live, in a house, an apartment, a condominium, mobile home, somewhere. People don't live in parks. So just the difference between, and rich people really finally got this. They finally figured it out. I think that all these trillions of dollars of rich people's money starting to look for real estate deals. So it's how we get recession proof is we just change our strategies and
Okay.
look for opportunities. So when it comes to this recession that supposedly is there, I'm not even sure that it's there. I think it's just people talk themselves into it, frankly,
Okay.
because yes, the interest rates have gone up. Yes, the demand has shrunk. Yes, the supply is increasing because people can't sell. That's a wonderful opportunity for me, because I realize that in all the real estate that's for sale, I only want 1% of it anyway. Most of the real estate that's for sale right now, the 99%, is not wholesale. It's all retail. I don't buy retail. I'm a business person. And therefore, if a real estate agent is offering the property for sale, it's retail. They ask the seller, how much do you want for it? It's retail. I don't play retail. I play wholesale. And the way you find wholesale is you look for the 1% of the sellers out there who are highly motivated to sell. And they need to sell. They want to sell. They are desperate to sell. And most of the 99% are not that way. So I don't talk to them. I talk to this person. I talk to here. So is this number getting bigger or smaller right now?
Smaller.
Is this number 1% getting bigger or smaller?
Is it getting bigger?
Why? Are there
Because
more
people are
highly
getting
motivated
fearful?
sellers now or less highly motivated sellers now?
Well, there's less people out there right now purchasing, right? There's less. So yeah, they're getting more motivated. It's flipping, right? It's pivoting.
Yeah, exactly. So this
Mhm.
number is going up. That 1% is going up.
Mhm.
1 to 5% of sellers who are desperate to sell. Is that good for me or bad for me if I'm a real estate investor?
That's good for you.
Good for me. So what do I mean recession proof? Why do I even want to use those words?
That's good. That was good advice. I like that. You're thinking macro. You're not even thinking like the, yeah, you're not getting
Yeah,
caught up in that.
I'm having more opportunity, not less.
Right.
Or the reason you're using the word recession proof is because generally most of the people of the 6 people you talk to, 6 out of 7 are employee minded, and that's David.
Mhm.
Say
He
you're
had a-
employee minded because you've been trained by your mentor to go back to work or go back to school, get a job to prepare you for a job. You're not an entrepreneur, and it sounds like your mentor wasn't one either. An entrepreneur doesn't want to go to college. He wants to go make money. That's what they do.
Mhm.
College prepares people for jobs. I don't want a job. And therefore the recession doesn't bother me.
Right.
I'm not worried about my job. I don't care about other people losing their jobs. You know, they're worried about people not buying, and for me as an entrepreneur, I look for opportunity everywhere I see it. So I see it here, real estate, there's an opportunity.
So you're thinking more macro, right? So you're thinking more macro. You're not getting caught up on those little words. You're not responding out of fear.
No, I'm actually, I'm responding out of opportunity. So
Right.
in your, for the recession proofers out there, they are here in their comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as they say, let's be recession proof, they shrink inside their comfort zone, which is the worst thing you can do.
You have to step outside your comfort zone.
Comfort zone is, it's a place where the opportunity's out here.
Right. Right.
It's out here.
Mhm.
And you have to get outside your comfort zone in order to make that happen. And if you're an employee-minded person, then the word for you is safety and security and longevity. All those, I don't like any of those words because I'm not an employee and I never will be. I never have been, frankly.
Yeah, it's really much so.
So for most employees, they're in here. So when you're talking about being recession proof, they're really thinking, how can I shrink? How can I pull myself in, wait for this storm to blow over? I don't want the storm to blow over. I want to go out in the storm.
Right.
This is the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is where the good things happen. So really, the comfort zone is misnomer. It's not the correct name for a comfort zone. This is the danger zone. That's
Okay.
the danger zone.
That's great. Can we put that in the chat, Ashley? Yeah, the comfort zone is the danger zone.
And most employees are just backwards on that. They think that's the safety zone, and this is the danger zone. So they don't go out here, which is
right.
where opportunity is. And so remember, I'm an entrepreneur, and that's why I think. So I look at an employee and I go, "What's the matter with you?" You know, you really think this job is going to be secure for you for the rest of your life? You're going to retire from that company? No, you're not going to retire from that company. The odds of that are almost zero. You're going to go through 10 different jobs, 4 or 5 different careers in your lifetime as an employee person. Don't do that.
What do you think about somebody being employed temporarily while they can save their money to invest, diversify, leverage, and all that? Because money makes money. So if someone has no money, would you poo-poo on that, or what would your suggestion be to them if they're trying to save up?
Nothing down, meaning
I was getting that. I was going to ask, that's my set. You keep taking my segues. You're so good. So I was going to ask you, you wrote a book. That was my next question. No money down. Tell us more about that. Is that still your philosophy? And is that still possible?
That is my philosophy, yes. To prove that nothing down would work, when I published the book, it was a huge bestseller. Still is. 40 years later, I still sell. 42 years later, I still get royalties from that crazy book. Because it still works. People were very skeptical, very negative about it. I go on the press, and the press, who are all employees, on this entrepreneur kick, and they go, I mean, ordinary people couldn't buy property. Now, maybe you could. I said, well, send me to any city, take away my wallet, give me $100 bill, and in 72 hours, I'll buy an excellent piece of real estate using none of my own money. And the LA Times saw the advertisement I was running for my seminars in the LA Times, and they called me and they said, we challenge you. We're going to take you to a city of our choice. We're going to take away your wallet. We're going to give you a $100 bill. And in 72 hours, if you haven't bought a property, we're going to destroy you. We're going to let the world know. We're going to let the world know you're
pressure. No pressure.
So yeah, no pressure. So so I accepted that challenge. Rather hesitatingly, frankly. I'd never done it before. So, but they took me to San Francisco. They took away my wallet, gave me 5 $20 bills, And I had to live in San Francisco for 3 days.
3 days? That's, oh my God.
$100, exactly. And then
Where'd
I
you-
had to get
I bet
transportation.
you were able to sleep though, right? Did you have a hotel, but that was $100?
We
that you
went
had
to the
outside?
Tenderloin district of San Francisco. The Tenderloin is not a place you want to go, but that's the only place I could get a room without identification and no credit card.
Oh
I
my
just paid cash, right? So I bought 7 properties in 57 hours, and I gave the reporter $20 back in change.
Shut it. That is incredible.
So in other words, yeah, you can use nothing down techniques. And so they said, well, you can do it, but ordinary people couldn't do it. And I said, send me to any unemployment line. Let me select someone who's broke, out of work, and discouraged. In 2 days' time, I'll teach them the secrets of wealth. In 90 days, they're back on their feet with 5,000 cash in the bank, never to set foot in an unemployment line again. And so I would go on the media and they would say, you can't do that. And I say, well, let's go to the most skeptical state in the United States. You know which state that is? The
Which
most
one?
skeptical state.
Skeptical, New York?
No, that is one, but it's Missouri.
Missouri. I don't
On
know.
the
I've
license
never.
plates, it's called the Show Me State, because that
Oh,
means
really?
tell
Okay.
me, show me. So we went to St. Louis and I picked 3 people from the unemployment line and we taught them exactly what to do. And we monitored them for 90 days and made their $5,000 in 90 days. And I wrote the book about it. In fact, I'll give you a copy of that one. It's called The Challenge of Me Going to the Unemployment Line.
The challenge. If anybody, we're gonna put this in the chat, but if anybody wants,
That's the subtitle of the book.
that's
So
amazing.
so anyway, your question was, how do you pull that stuff off? Most people who are employee minded, they think they've been told so many lies. The first lie is it takes money to make money. That's a total lie. It doesn't have to be your money. You don't have to have any money. You can start, like I proved you with in San Francisco and then in St. Louis. You don't need money. You need a system and you need the guts to go do something about it. And most
Okay.
people, I can give them the system, but they don't have the guts to do it. And therefore they end up like employees. They end up making small, slow money for 40, 50 years, retiring with nothing. And they bet their life. They bet their life, their one life, they bet that they would be safe and happy and secure. And that doesn't work out very well for most people, frankly.
Mhm.
I'm going to bet my life I want to win. I want to win big. And so entrepreneurs, they think differently. They want to make big, fast money. Big meaning, 10 times more than an employee. Fast meaning 5 years, not 50 years. And so that's what I teach. And that's why my books have sold really well. And Pamela, it's the reason she's here, by the way. Pamela invited me to be here. She introduced
Right.
us.
I know she did.
Pamela is working with me, and I'm teaching her and this other small group of people how to make money. And we're into 90 days of the beginning part of making serious money this year. And so Pamela is learning. So Pamela, what are you learning?
She's unmuted right now.
Oh yeah, Pamela.
I'm learning so much. It's how do you even put it into words? It's like I'm getting into the overload like right now. It's just the reading, the systems, the ritual, the mindset. It's like it all has to come together on a regular basis to even move forward and make sense.
Right.
And me being a human being, it's I talk myself out of it a lot. So it's kind of like you always talk about the human being is a forgetting being. Is you have to keep always reminding yourself by the ritual that you're doing what you're doing it for and why. And it's crazy, but it's so good. And it's more than I thought I could ever imagine. Robert is amazing. Yeah.
Well, so the reason Pamela and I are together, and I visit with them every single week, and we spend a couple of hours every week. My time's $5,000 an hour, so they don't have to pay that, but that's what I bill myself out at. And so we spend a couple of hours, and I teach them really stuff that people never heard of before. And then we put them into teams so they go and help each other accomplish it. what I've created and what I call this inner circle is an infrastructure so that every single person that's in this group is going to win. And we can where you go to a seminar and the teacher teaches you, and then they say, well, good luck, have a good life. Let's make it happen. Pamela and I know each other because she texts me. She has my telephone number. She's got a question. She asked me personally. And this is the last time I'm going to do an inner circle like this because it takes a lot of my time.
I bet.
And a lot of my personal, for instance, this time I'm giving to Pamela because Pamela asked me to, and because she's part of my inner circle. But Pamela has an opportunity where she will teach a handful of people what she is learning. Those people will get access to the calls that I'm doing with them, and they paid a very, very large fee to be part of this part.
Right.
But for a minuscule amount, almost nothing really,
Right.
teach you what I'm teaching her, and she'll let you watch what I'm teaching her. In other words, you can't be part of the live class. I won't answer your questions. You won't get my phone number. You won't get my email address.
Right.
But Pamela will be the one who will guide you through answering all your questions because she can ask me,
Right.
So I have what I call my inner circle, and then there's the outer circle. The outer circle are people who can't get in the inner circle because it's closed forever. No one could ever get in it. It's done. But on the outer circle is these people who are inside who I've given the permission to to let them teach what I'm teaching them, to be like a fly on the wall to kind of watch what's going on. And so Pamela is going to select, one or two people here on this call, and the people who watch later in a replay,
Right.
they're going to send an email to Pamela. This goes
Okay. Is that one? I had mine on there too. We'll put that in the chat.
7086 at gmail.com, and you'll say, Pamela, how do I become part of your outer circle?
I want to be part of her outer circle. And it was funny, just in testament to that, she was at one of your meetings, in your inner circle. And so I was all curious. I was like, oh, I wish I was there. And so she got so excited. She started sharing some of the stuff that you were teaching. And I have to be honest with you, I was really surprised because you were drilling down. You weren't just doing the fluff.
Yeah.
Which you get everywhere. And that always, I'm like an A-type person. I want to implement, I want to do things. So I get frustrated, to be quite frank, when I go to those things because they're all fluff. And I'm like, I came here because I want the how-tos. Like, I will apply it. I'm that girl that'll apply it. So it was amazing. The information that you were teaching that, is now going to have a ripple effect through Pam, honest to God, was life-changing, and it would make you millions of dollars. I mean, I saw it myself and I was like, darn it, I wish I was there. So and to confirm what you're saying, facts. That's a fact. That's not baloney. Yep. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. So put that on there. We have a few more minutes, so I wanted to ask you another question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
On the path to wealth income, is important to take advantage of sales. We already talked about that, right? And we know that it doesn't take money to make money, like you said, but money does make money. So I know you agree with that. Money makes money. But
Right.
what you were saying was there are ways to do it with other people's money.
Yes.
So if you don't have any money, if you want to study your systems, you can become creative, thinking macro, right?
Yes.
And getting rid of those limiting beliefs and mindset and applying them. So you don't need a lot of money to make money, or any, according to you, but money makes money. So, right? So can you tell us about your book, Multiple Streams of Income? What systems are important to know to create passive income? Can you touch on that? You did a little bit, but can you get a little more granular?
Okay, well, let's talk about residual income for a minute.
Okay.
What does that really mean? It means the money is working for you instead of you working for the money.
Uh-huh.
So to set up a system like that, to set up a stream of income that flows to you, requires a lot of active work. It's not passive. People talk about active and passive income.
Mm-hmm.
Passive income, I can put my money into the stock market. I can leave it there, let it grow. That's good. That's passive. It's just not fast.
Mm-hmm.
And you usually have to start with a little bit of money. If you want to make big money in the stock market, you have to invest big money. And most people, they don't have big money. So they'll invest passively into an S&P 500 index fund or something like that, where they buy 500
Right.
corporations in the world, which I recommend every one of you here do anyway. And then put the money there and forget it. It's passive. Wake up 30 years from now and you're a multimillionaire, really. If you put a couple $100 a month into an S&P 500, you'll wake up 50 years from now as a multimillionaire.
Right.
But that's passive. But we don't want to wait 50 years. We want to do it in 5. So it's
Right.
active. I got out there. I got to either build a company, form and market a product that it's my business. And yes, you can do that. I got to have a website that I create, and I have to figure out a way to drive traffic to it so I can sell my widget. I got to have a way to sell information, for instance. So that the information sell, I told you I got a royalty from this book I wrote 42 years ago. That's passive. I worked hard for 6 months writing the book, Nothing Down. And now 42 years later, every 6 months I get a check.
Uh-huh.
The publisher is still selling the book out there for me. That's passive. That's royalties. So that's another way of making passive income. I can join a network marketing company. It's hard to do that, but if you really are good at it, you can build residual streams of income. And I still get little streams of income from this company I joined like 20 years ago. I still get like $1,000 a month that I don't sell it at all. I haven't sold it in 20 years, but I get this $1,000, $2,000 check every single month. I can build a real estate portfolio. What's powerful about that is as I put a tenant in there and they pay me rent every month, that's residual really, because they stay there for years sometimes.
They're paying your mortgage.
The mortgage gets paid off 20, 25 years from now. All of that money that I used to send to the bank, I get to collect it all now, 100% of that rent minus the expenses. So I've always said you should be buying 2 properties a year for the next 10 years. 20 property portfolio will make you a multimillionaire. And once those properties are paid off, you're making, well, what would you be making? 25 years from now, let's see, what would the rent be? Would be probably $2,000 to $5,000 a month, depending upon inflation.
Right.
So it's $5,000 a month. You got 20 houses, you're making $100,000 a month. Now, maybe it's not worth what we say $100,000 is. Maybe it's only worth $20,000 a month, in terms of our dollars. But still, cash flow flowing in. Yeah, you can have somebody manage those 10 houses for you. Goodbye, go to Tahiti. That's
right.
So what I'm trying to teach Pamela is to create a chunk of money. We want to start with little chunks first.
Right.
I want to start to make $1,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000. I want to make, and Pamela's going to do this. She can't not do it. I will not allow her to not do it. She has to do it. I put in a team of people that are focused on helping her do it, period.
Right.
Cannot lose. It's the first time in my entire career I've ever done anything like this. And I'm creating a system so that I can replicate it. And I won't do this again. I'll be replicating, right?
Right.
But Pamela is going to cycle through one cycle of making a chunk of money. Let's say it's 10 grand. She's going to do that by either finding a vacant property she's buying from the state that is taking it back for back taxes and is selling it for nothing, peanuts. And she's going to take that property and either flip it. She's going to sell it to somebody else really quickly, make a quick 4 or 5 grand, maybe sell it for nothing down and carry a $10,000 note for the next 20 years. People will like to buy things with nothing down as long as the interest rates are right and they can fit into their budget. So maybe she makes a $10,000 chunk of cash flow. Well, that is just one cycle. Then once she's succeeded at one cycle like that, and there are a lot of products I'm going to show her how to sell, whether it's real estate, whether it's information, whether it's a business product she's selling, she needs to have cycles like that. And then she scales. It's cycle first and then scale. That means if she makes 10 grand in a one deal, she makes that happen. then she just needs to do that 100 more times. That's $1 million.
Right. That's what
So-
they're saying. Chris
Count
Cronin,
up
I read
to
his book.
100. It's not that hard to count to 100, but I need to get one done. And that's the hard thing for most people. They can't get one done. So they go get a job and they work making small, slow money for 50 years because they can't think of any other way to make money. It's just, well, you know what I think about that. So Pamela, she's going to be your coach. She's going to teach you how she's doing that first cycle. And she wants you to do the same cycle with her. And so she'll tell you exactly how you can participate. I've only given her permission to do this for 5 people.
Right.
So, period. If you're number 6, you can't get in.
Right.
I won't let her do that.
It's a huge opportunity. It truly, truly is. And because what you were saying, and I'm sorry, to your point, everything I've said, everybody I've talked to, everything I've read was exactly what you were saying. You're going to take that money, you're creating a system, right? And it's just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And that's what I was trying to say, was that exact thing. So that's exactly what it is. And the
Already
books that
some of our inner circle people have made $25,000, $10,000 in a real estate deal. They're probably going to make $40,000, $50,000. Our goal is to make $1 million in this first year. And will we be able to accomplish that? Some will, yeah, some will. Some won't. Some will go slower. Some will figure it out. But there's no such thing as an unrealistic goal, just an unrealistic time frame. So we've given a deadline of 1 year. Some will pull it off. Some will not pull it off in the first. It might take them another year, But the point is, once you've done one cycle, it's just like it's up to you. How fast do you want to do it? You want to do 10 deals in a month? 10 cycles in a month? You want to do 1 cycle every 3 months? I don't care. As long as I get them to do the cycles, then I know that eventually they'll figure it out, or they'll quit.
systems, right? Systems and cycles, right? Exactly. So yeah, and that's really, really good advice. And it's the rinse and repeat. Even with this show, like the first time I ever did it, it was very daunting. I'd never done it before, but you force yourself and because I have a goal. So yeah, even doing that step, but now that once you've done it, like you said, once you force yourself and you've gone through it, now it's a system that I just rinse and repeat,
Right.
makes
That's
it
right.
much, much easier. And it's not as daunting, but you do only because of God. I mean, for me, I had like that meditation, prayer, overcoming those, the scarcity mindset to abundant mindset, just getting my head on straight, pushing yourself through all of that stuff, the limiting belief system, the limiting beliefs. Pam and I were at an event and we worked on that together, and it's freeing, right? It'll set you free. And I always tell people, don't you believe, and do you, would you say this? And I think you would, systems, rituals, and routines will set you free.
I agree. It seems like it's just the opposite. They gotta get a routine.
I know.
It means you're not going to be free, but frankly, it frees you up. Yeah.
I was talking to my 19-year-old son, and I was explaining this to him, right? And he said, I don't want a routine because that I want to be free. I want to be free. And I said this to him. I said, son, I said the same thing. I said the same thing for years. I bucked rituals and routine. I'm like, oh, those people are boring. I said, the rituals and routines and systems will set you free. Yep. And so, yeah, and it's absolutely true. I want everybody out there who watches on right now and that live to know that is absolutely a fact.
Ask Pamela a question. Pamela, why 786? Why is that your email address? Where'd you come up with that number?
I know you want me to say something like, but anyway, when I came out with my Gmail account back in the day, I wanted something to do with Pamela, and the next number was 7086. So I just said, okay.
Oh, the next number that came up.
Yes.
So she was like, that's my number.
That's my number. Okay, well, that is your number, 70 and 86. Great. Well,
thank you, Robert.
I'm running short. I have another call that I have to do. So I wish all of your attendees a wonderful life. I hope it's been valuable to you. I'll email you, Tamara. I'll email you the 4 Maps book. It's an ebook.
Okay.
And I'll email you the challenge book, which is really nitty gritty real estate. It's mindset, systems, and people skills. And
And those are the two, because my last question I was going to ask you, which is exactly, I told you, take every one of my segues. I think we're on the same wavelength. If you were going to tell people right now the most helpful book and relevant for right now in creating passive income and wealth out of all your books, which ones would you say, if you're going to say one or two, or those the two that you would recommend to read?
yeah, probably. Yes, I would. The Challenge and the Four Maps, but the other books are great. The 1 Minute Millionaire, that's a really unique book. That's really powerful.
Okay.
Multiple Types of Income, that's published all around the world. That's China, Russia, everywhere. So these are all, choose one, read it. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much, Robert, for your time. I can't tell you how appreciative I am to you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pamela. See you, Tamara, and
Bye.
David, and Ashley, and everybody else, and have a great day.
Thank you
Yeah.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Really appreciate it. Awesome.
Thank you.
David, send an email to Tamara. She needs to talk to you.
I will. I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate you taking the time to, give some insight on the information. And I got a lot of educating myself to do. And I'm going to start with your book. So I appreciate your time.
Get it? Okay.
Perfect.
Robert,
I'll send it to you. Can you send me an email right now, Tamara? And I'll attach it to the email you send to me.
Yes. Ashley,
Don't send it to WeChat or whatever that other thing is. Send it to my email.
yeah, I have your email. I'll have Ashley send that over to you. I'm going to finish up right here and I will send that out to you so you can get it out to us.